Okay, guys, I've had conversations either through email or in the live room with many of you guys, and my name is Rob Swartz, if you don't know me, and I'm living currently in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I am from the United States, from California originally. Theo asked me to share my experience with you, and that's what I'm going to do today. I put up a basic outline of what I'm going to discuss. Um, the first two topics are my journey that's taken me to this point as far as my trading with ElectroFX, and then three are the last two keys to success, and the goals are just some of my opinions on things that I've learned over the years. So let me pull down the first slide here. Okay, recent success. Now I've been on a pretty good run the last 6 weeks or so. Actually last Friday, and it was funny because on Friday was the last trading day of January, and I was considering not trading at all, just to be able to make the statement that I had no trading losses for the month of January. Not that that's important or anything, but that's where I was kind of thinking, and I did take a counter trend trade. It was a risky trade, and I ended up taking a loss on the trade, but that's really not that important or significant. The fact that I basically had right around 30 consecutive trades without a loss is pretty substantial, and it's not that it's something that I'm going to brag about or say, hey, look what I've done, but to me it's an indicator that I'm moving in the right direction. Now, out of those 30 trades, I had a number of break-evens, but I think I'm getting to the point where I'm really mitigating any type of substantial losses, and that's really a step forward for me. Now, these trades also I do take scalps once in a while. I haven't scalped a whole lot in the last few weeks, so it's been right around 30 trades. Now, I've also been posting links to a small website that I'm developing. It's basically a video log, and I wanted to build this thing for a few reasons. First of all, to share my trading techniques, which are basically what Theo's teaching. Share that with everybody, and also to help me. And how am I helping myself? Because it's like a psychological factor for me. If I know, and I've made a commitment to post every single trade that I take on the internet, all right, it's going to really make me think about the entries I take. And if I do anything stupid, I'm going to have to explain myself on the internet. Now, you might think, well, why do it? For me, it helps. It really does. And then I've also made a commitment to when I arrive home at night, because I still work full time, when I arrive home at night, to post those videos on the internet every single day, or as much as I can. Now, this also helps me think through the process, and as I think through the process of each trade, I become more of an expert. So it's really helping me learn. It's helping. It's keeping me accountable at the same time. So that's why I've began this website. And if anybody needs a link, I post it all the time in the live room, and I'll post it again today. If you look at number 5 here, my trading style is intraday, basically similar to what Theo does. I think actually after trading for a number of years, that is the best type of trading. It's the safest. I trade around news. I think it's the safest way to go. My take profit on most trades is between 20 and 40 pips. I would love to see it 80 or 100 pip take profit, but it just doesn't come up that much. And like I said, I just really basically use what Theo teaches. Two types of trades, again, what are essential, I think, in Theo's teaching are the pullback buy and sell with the trend and a breakout with the trend. Now, that doesn't mean I don't take counter trend trades, but if I do, that's something that I need a good reason, or the risk reward is really good on it. As far as my day is concerned, I spend about 2 or 3 hours in the morning before I go to work trading, but a lot of the times all it is checking the charts and then moving on. I make my breakfast, I do whatever, and a lot of times I don't take any trade in the morning, and then I operate. When I leave, I operate off of a smartphone and a small laptop. I'll get I'll receive an email alert. All that email alert tells me is that something's happening in a certain area, and that I might want to check that to see if if I like what I see. If I like what I see, I take it. If not, I disregard. I would say 80% of the alerts that I get, I disregard once I look at them, and they do become a little annoying at times, but it's working for me at the point. Does anybody have any questions or anything so far? No, the only real alert that I use, Theo, right now is a double tap. That's it. And yeah, just basically the double tap. I did do on the swing Indy or custom Z. No, oh yeah, it's on the ZTM. I take what's built in. It's on the Indy, yeah. All I do is I've clicked the box. I open up the Indy and I click the box. So it's not some kind of custom alert or anything like that. As far as my trading experience is concerned, like I said, I still work full time. I've never held any position in the financial service industry or traded full time as a broker or anything like that. I have traded stocks before, but I was an amateur. Really, it was a hobby more than anything. I didn't understand technical analysis, and like it says here, I really had no clue, and it was not profitable for me at all. And I probably started trading with that back in 2000. So it's been a long time. After I got tired of really not seeing any progress trading stocks, I started learning about trading options. Basically, it was the same result for me. I learned a lot, but I wasn't really that profitable. I discovered ElectroFX through a friend about 4 years ago, opened a demo account, and started trading live about, I want to say 6 months after that. Now, even though I thought I had a good handle on a lot of the stuff that Theo teaches, I really wasn't ready emotionally. I didn't have the correct mindset, the correct habits, and I really didn't know enough about technical analysis to be trading live initially, even though that I had worked on it for a few months. I opened up a $5,000 account, and I had initial success, and that was probably the worst thing that could have happened to me. Why do I say that? Well, because I was having initial success using the techniques that weren't sound. And even though like the first week trading on a $5,000 account, I think I went up to 6,500 in my account. And I remember that weekend on Saturday having a beer and thinking, this currency trading stuff's pretty easy, man. But I wasn't using this was blind luck, I'm telling you. So what do you think happened? I ended up liquidating that account because I was using improper techniques, period. And it was even though I lost $5,000, and you say, Jesus, that's a lot of money, and it is to anybody. That is part of the process that I had to go through to learn. I had to learn my lesson that you can't be irresponsible. And I think, when you talk about the 95 or 90% of the people who are not successful trading currencies, a lot of times they'll take a hit like that, and they won't come back from it. And I almost didn't. I was like, the hell with this, it's not working. But I took some time off. I went back and I said, what were you doing wrong? And I discovered that I wasn't using any technique. I might as well have been gambling, really. So I kept with it, and I began to slowly learn and get better. So that was my basic trading experience. I've been only trading currencies for 4 years, but it has been a rocky road for me. And as much success as I have had this last year and really the last 6 weeks, I just want to emphasize with everybody that I have made every mistake there is to make, just about. I could talk all day about my losing trades, about my mistakes, have you guys ever had a night where you can't go to sleep because of you're in a position that you shouldn't be in? I've had those nights before. So, I studied all that and said, I'm not going to do that anymore. And it's taken me 4 years. I would say for most people, I don't know, it's relative about how much time that's required to turn the corner. And for me, it hasn't been easy, but now I'm beginning to see success. I just want to go into, unless anybody has any questions, some keys that I believe are really important if you're going to be a successful trader. there's no questions, I'll just roll right into it. Really, I believe there's three areas, and you know, you can apply this to other things, not just for currency trading. I think you have to use get the proper skills. You have to have habits that support them, and then you have to have the proper mindset, skills, habits, mindset. You have to develop all three of those areas. And I think a lot of people, they get the skills part down, but the other two don't follow, and it's hard to have consistent success if you're not organized that way. Now, where do you get the skills from? Well, to me, if you don't have some type of education in Forex, like ElectroFX, which is, I don't know of any other service that offers as many features and is as clear as what Theo's put together. I don't know if anything is available out there, but you have to have the education. And if you try trading without the proper training, it's just pure gambling, plain and simple. I really believe that. And initially, even though I had the education there in front of me, I didn't understand that I hadn't put enough time in, and it was gambling, and I lost. And again, like I mentioned before, you have to put the time in that's required to gain the experience. Now, that's relative to different people. You know, how much experience do you need? I don't know. For me, it's been 4 years. For you, it might be 2 years. For somebody else, it might be 6 months. All right. I don't know. That's a journey that you have to take. I know that it's something that each person has to get through, and it's not a glamorous process. I mean, people don't advertise the fact that if you want to be a successful trader, you're going to have to really work hard and really study and be able to get through the losing times when they hit, and inevitably they're going to hit everybody. It's just to what extent, you know. But I think that my last point here, as far as developing a skill set, excuse me, you cannot circumvent the process. And that's what I tried to do initially. I tried to go from opening an account, learning a few things, and going right to success. I didn't want to go through the process. And I didn't really know the process existed. But you cannot circumvent that. And to me, it's just all about work, study, patience, and then you have to have a sense of humor. You know, yeah, Theo, as far as advertising the opposite, you know, it's funny. I can't remember, there was an ad for it was a video ad, some weekend conference where there was some Forex education system they were just offering 3 days, and it was like 25 grand. It was unbelievable sum. And the first, right, and the first thing they led off with, which I thought was irresponsible, was a video of a guy clicking a few buttons and making like 30 grand in 2 minutes. Okay, whether that was actually the case or not. And so that's what they lead in with, and to me that's putting an image, romancing idea that's really not realistic. And you get all these people thinking that somehow you're going to click a button and make 30 grand in one day, and it's just going to be easy street from there on in. You know, when I see stuff like that, I immediately run away from it. And to me, I think $25,000 for 3 days, I don't know what they're teaching, but I think it's probably a little bit extravagant. Let's go to so the first part, you have to develop your skills, and I think we're all doing that right now through Theo and his teachings. Number 2, your habits. Okay, and Theo, you actually you've spoke about this before. You have to have good habits, and a lot of you guys do have good habits already. And I probably don't need to be saying this, but as far as what time you wake up, exercise, relaxation, all of that, I think you have to have a similar time every day when you trade. And I think that that's a healthy way of doing it, because it is stressful and you have to manage the stress. And you get to the point where hopefully it's not as stressful as you gain experience, but I think a good schedule helps you stay organized. And that's for me. I get up early in the morning, and I look at the markets for a couple hours, and then I go to work, and I work off a cell phone and a cell phone and a laptop. The other thing you have to do as far as habits are concerned, I think you have to develop a set of rules. Many of you guys have rules already. I have a number of them. I'm just listing a few examples. For example, I never hold a trade overnight. I never hold a trade over the weekend. I have a 20-minute rule before news. I try to stay out of any position before pending red news, 20 minutes before, 20 minutes after, unless some other circumstances surface. Obviously, we all know the 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio on counter trend trades. I mean, I have a number of rules, but part of good habits to support your skill set are developing these rules and sticking with them, okay? Not tearing into a negative losing position unless you have very good reason. I mean, that's a big one that I've had losses before because of that. But those are all habits that you develop as you gain experience. Another one that I use is that I have a trade progression before I open a position that goes something like, the first thing I do in the morning is I check the news, check the daily candles, check the M8 waves, support and resistance M8 and M3. I look at what time of day it is, and then things like, are we going counter trend, with the trend, risk reward, all of the other things. But I think that you have to, whether you have one or not, I think you have to either in your mind or develop it, a progression that you take before you enter position. Because if you do this, it'll prevent you from entering a position that maybe you shouldn't be. It's just, you might want to call it a checklist or whatever, but this is part of having good habits. And the last one that I discussed a little bit is, like, for instance, I have a habit now where I try to come home and post a video at night. Discussions with some of you guys are emailing me, asking me questions or giving me feedback. That's fantastic. That helps me get better. I want to start posting on some of the blogs around and maybe giving some ideas or getting some ideas from other traders. I mean, these are all habits that are going to support the skill set that we're all learning, and I think that it's important to have those habits. So let's go to the last part of this. And you know, the big one, which is really hard to get a handle on, is mindset, the mental game. And let me tell you what, when I first started trading, my mindset was scrambled eggs, man. It was the worst. I mean, I was undisciplined. I would over-celebrate when I'd win, and I'd become depressed when I lost. And you can't think like that, you know, because basically, if you can't make rational decisions in an irrational emotional state. That's really true. And if you take a win, if you get a 30-pip win, I mean, you should be happy. It's not like you're just going to be stoic about the whole thing, but you can't be you can't celebrate like you just won the lotto, because if you celebrate like you won the lotto, then the flip side of that is you're going to go into depression, or you're going to be extremely emotional when you lose. So you have to develop a relaxed, emotionless mindset, and that is easier said than done for me, for just about everybody I've met, because it is not easy to trade, and especially when you get into higher lot sizes. You know, it's essential to have the proper mindset when you begin to take trades with higher lot sizes. It's easier to be even, you know, have an even frame of mind when you're trading 0.1 or 0.2 or a demo account. But once you get to a higher lot size, I mean, you have to have the same emotional state when you're trading a demo account as when you're trading a 2.0 lot size. And that is not easy to develop, and I'm still working on that. It's funny, I'll tell you a story, and Theo remembers this. I was messing around with my risk management settings maybe about a month and a half ago, and it was in the morning, and I entered a trade on a P buy or whatever it was, and I went and I entered the trade, set my lines, and went and fixed breakfast or whatever, came back, and I was looking at the trade, and it said 10.0, and I was like, what the hell is that? I had entered a position of 10.0 lot size. Now, that is way higher than I should be messing with for my account size. Okay, and I went to panic mode. You're talking about it like an irrational emotional state, right? Because, I mean, if something were to gap, that would just about wipe me out, all right? So I ended up punching out at +3. Yeah, right, you remember? I ended up punching out +3. I hotkeyed that thing so fast I almost broke my keyboard, right? And I went and fixed my settings, but you know, those are the kind of situations where I can't be like that if I'm in my normal proper lot size. And the ironic thing about that trade is if I would have stayed in it, it would have been the most profitable trade in the history of my trading career because it went to take profit. But you know, whatever, you can't risk that type of money. The other thing I think that's really crucial for developing the proper mindset is limiting your screen time. Theo talks about this all the time. Staring at a screen all day is simply not healthy, and you talk yourself into doing things that you wouldn't normally do. Set it and forget it. And especially if you're, let me tell you what, if you're going with the trend on a pullback and you have a good entry trigger and you set your lines and it's with the trend and there's no pending news, set it and forget it. I'm telling you, 70-80% of the time, you're going to either at least break even to take profit. I don't even think it's worth looking at. The ones that sometimes you need to manage a little more are the counter trend trades if price goes against you. So I'm really working on that, and I think it's helping me. Even if the alerts are a little overwhelming at times, it helps keep my eyeballs off of a screen, and I think that's important. I've had more success now that I'm limiting the time that I'm watching the screen. I mean, I don't mind if I have time to sit down and watch things, to watch a little bit, but once I'm in a trade, I like to go do other things and really try to forget about it. Another thing, patience. A lot of you guys know about this. If in doubt, stay out. I mean, there was a time when I felt like I had to trade 2, 3, 4 times a day. Now, I have no problem going 2 or 3 days without a trade. In fact, I view that as sound trading, because if you're not around when an entry trigger appears, who cares? You just weren't there. If nothing appears for 2 or 3 days, that means that you're doing what you should be doing. You're practicing good habits. And you can't get bent out of shape if you have 1, 2, 3 days without a trade. So I think that patience, and again, that's easier said than done too, but if in doubt, stay out, and don't worry about it if you miss a big mover. It's just part of the game. Also, if, you know, we all know about the loss part of it, don't sweat it. I put it's money well spent. I mean, the money that I've lost trading Forex, I mean, we're all in this to try to do something to enhance our lives. It takes time, effort, and sometimes it takes money. And to me, it's almost like an investment, almost like I'm taking a class at a college or something. If I have to pay $5,000 tuition for a year, fine. If I have to pay $5,000 to learn my lesson in $5,000 or $10,000 in currency trading, fine. But don't let it haunt you. Don't let it say, oh my gosh, I took another loss. I'm going to lose another 5,000. You can't. That's a negative attitude. That's going to affect your trading. So don't let a loss haunt your trading at all. And the last thing I put down here is I think that we all have a measure of courage for attempting to do something that has the reputation of being extremely risky. And, you know, at times when it's very difficult for me, and maybe some of you guys experience the same thing, to talk to anybody that I know regarding currency trading because no one understands it. You know, if you say, oh, I just bought 3,000 or 300 shares of Intel and it's doing really well, or some stock, people can maybe relate to it and whatever. If you say you're short the pound dollar, they don't know what the hell you're talking about. And if you want to have a conversation about how your trading week went, you can't talk to anybody because they can't relate. You know, so and the people who have done it before and lost are going to be the negative person in your ear saying you shouldn't be doing that, you know. So I think it takes a lot of courage to stick with it and plow through when maybe things aren't going your way all the time. And really, if you develop skills, habits, and mindsets, and you listen to what Theo's teaching, the risk will be mitigated for sure. Right. Oh, I mean, you guys have heard it all. That's gambling. I heard some analyst on TV recommend that nobody should ever try entering the currency markets. All right. The best thing I could ever tell you about the media is to turn it off, because those guys, all the experts, don't know what the hell they're talking about. So, but I think, you know, I commend everybody on here who has the courage to try something different. I mean, when I look at it, why am I trading foreign exchange? Why am I doing it? To try to enhance my life financially so that maybe someday I can quit my job and just do this and have time to do other things that I want to do. That's really what it's all about for me. It's not about making $1 million. It's about having time to do the things that I want to do in my life. And I think this is a vehicle, this is a way to do that. But it's not easy. It's like anything else. You have to develop your skills. And it takes time. For me, it's 4 years. For you guys, it might be more, it might be less. It's all relative. So the last thing is my goals for the future, help other people discover ElectroFX. I think that when you go to some of the websites, Forex Factory or Baby Pips or whatever, and read some of the posts, after you've had some experience, you realize how people are really struggling out there, and they really don't have a good idea on how they should be trading. But they're so inundated with so many different websites and techniques and rules and everything else that it's hard to tell them where to turn. So if we can bring a few more people in, that would be great. And I think it helps me as a trader when I can explain what we're doing. I always get better when I can explain it to other people. Number two, I want to learn and continue to develop my skills. I think the videos and all of your guys' feedback, it's going to help me. The last thing, and I'm not near this right now, but I think that this last point is really key. Some people trade FX maybe to enhance their income, or maybe like my goal is to be a full-time trader someday. I'm not there yet, but I think it's important to come up with a number per week as far as income that you need to be able to quit your job. And for me, to be able to quit my job and be a full-time trader, that's to achieve 50 pips a week, trading an average lot size of 5.0 or higher. And I'm not there yet. I'm not even close to being there yet. But this is my goal. It might take me a year, it might take me 2 years, I don't know. But that's when I'll know that I can go ahead and fire my boss, so to speak. And basically those are my goals. I don't know how long I've talked. That's about all I had to share with you guys. Does anybody have any questions or comments or anything? Or maybe everyone's asleep. Well, thanks. And also, some of you guys, this is, appreciate it. And guys, any feedback that you guys can give me or anything that I can help you do, just all you have to do is ask. This is a shot of my website. This is how I'm posting my trades. For January, here are all my trades. You just click and the video comes up and you can watch it. And if you want to contact me, you can click on the contact button at the top of the page. There it says contact me, and it goes to my email, and I'll email you guys back. But Theo, thanks for letting me speak a little bit. I hope you guys got something out of it, and I hope I didn't ramble on too much. I'm gonna give the mic to Theo.